Hey everybody, Brock Frady here, helping you enjoy your ride. In this video today, we're going to take a look at a 2017 Lexus NX200t. T stands for turbo. This turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder little feisty beast is a fun vehicle. It's got aggressive styling and it's got a little turbo on it that'll put you back in your seat. We're going to take a look at the inside, the outside, some of the optional equipment, and the impressive list actually of standard equipment as well. So let's take a look at the 2017 Lexus NX200t. The NX200t has a 235 horsepower 4-cylinder 2-liter turbocharged engine. It'll do 0 to 60 in 7.2 seconds. It's available with front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and that's mated to a 6-speed sequential shift electronically controlled transmission. The fuel economy for the front-wheel drive NX is 22 city, 28 highway with a 25 mile per gallon combined, and all-wheel drive is 22 city, 28 highway, and 24 combined. The overall length is 182.3 inches. The wheelbase is 104.7 inches. The width is 73.6 inches. And the height is 64.8 inches. The NX has a really nice long list of standard equipment that is optional on many other vehicles. And one of those pieces of standard equipment is smart access with push button start and stop. This is your smart access key fob. All you need to do is keep this on your person and you can use the car completely. At the top you see lock, below that is unlock. Then you have hold for the back tailgate and you have hold for panic alarm. Panic alarm looks just like this. That's very loud, and all I did to disable that was hit the unlock button. Then you have the lock button on top. Hit that once and it locks the doors. You have to hit unlock twice to unlock all 4 doors. So now at this moment, all 4 doors are unlocked plus the rear hatch. And then, speaking of the rear hatch, you can press the hold button here and hold it down. And there's your rear tailgate. Another nice feature is the fact that you can press the hold button again and the tailgate will close. Nice. Now let's take a look at how the smart access works when it's in your pocket. So I'm just going to take this, drop it in my pocket, and there is a little dimple right there on the edge of the door handle. That only does one thing, and that's lock the door. So when you press that, all the doors lock, plus the gas tank just locked, and I'll explain that. Now to get into the vehicle, all you need to do is grab the handle and it unlocks. The gas tank unlocks with the locking and the unlocking of the door locks. So when the doors are unlocked, the gas door unlocks. When they're locked, it locks. And then to pop it open, of course, all you do is push it in and it pops right open. Notice also that that dimple is on all 4 doors. And then to get into the back, all you need to do is press a little rubber button that is directly under the Lexus emblem. Squeeze it in, let it go, and step back and it opens right up. You've got a really good amount of storage space here. You can see that there's a light in the back. You've got tie downs right there. You see that metal tie down there in the middle of the screen? That allows you to tie down items, and you've got one on the other side as well that matches. You also have a removable tonneau cover, and you can see how it's raised up with the raising of the back hatch. And what you do to remove that is you just pull that string off. Then you can take it and fold it over and then just nudge it forward, and then you can remove it there. Then you have this removable cargo net there, and I really recommend leaving that in place to carry items that would tend to roll around. Now the back seats, they will fold forward and completely flat. So you can see that these back seats are actually reclined, and there is a handle down there at the bottom. And so what you can do is take the handle and pull it forward, and the seat folds, and that makes it nice and flat. And that's going to give you much better cargo room in the back. And of course the other side folds as well, and it's a 60/40 split. You also have park assist right there, and that is a sensor. You have 4 on the back, you have 4 on the front, and those are sensors that will beep in the event that you get too close to something, and the closer you get, the faster it beeps. Really great feature. Now you have a little button on the underside of the door, and you can just press that in and the door closes up for you. Also notice that you see your NX200t badge on the back, and just in case you weren't familiar, the number designation on the back of the Lexus models indicates the engine displacement. So 200 indicates a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. That's what the T stands for. Check out those angular rear lights, and it looks like they're in several layers as far as how many pieces there are there that would be involved, like that black part on the outside and then the red part and everything. And notice here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but here's my pin, and can you see down in that groove right there? You see that? Look down inside of there, and you see where it's red down inside of there. Well, if you think about it, it's actually supposed to be like dark, but you see, can you see into there? That gap is actually filled in right there. And I want to show you something. This is something that I was recording a video one day, and I noticed that. And what Lexus did is there's a gap right here when the door closes, just a small gap, and there has to be, because you know it's the body here and the door here, and the door closes. But what Lexus has done is filled that gap in by bringing this light around and then allowing this part here to stick into the, you know, kind of out right here to fill in that gap. So now that I've shown you, I want to close it again. I want you to take a look at what I mean. So that whenever the lights are on at night or anytime, when the lights are on, you can't actually perceive that there's a gap there. See that? Isn't that cool? I love that kind of stuff. It's all about the details. Check out the window line. You can see how the window line comes back and it kind of gets sharp right there. Pretty neat angular looking thing there. And that is actually a real window. You can see out of that. You have your shark fin antenna there on the top, and then you have your rear spoiler over your glass. And I like the fact that it's got dual exhaust, and the dual exhaust is kind of integrated into the bumper area there. The color on the outside of this one is called Atomic Silver. The interior color is cream. Here's your rear view mirror, and you have that silver portion right there, and everything is just really angular, but it all comes together nicely. Then you've got an LED light that's integrated into the outside portion of that rear view mirror. These are new wheel. This is a new wheel style for 2017. I think it looks pretty nice. It also has ventilated front disc brakes. There's a channel that passes in between that brake rotor that allows the brake rotor to remain cool so that you don't overheat the brakes and reducing the likelihood of brake fade. Then let's look up front. You've got these great big daytime running lights there that start there and kind of wrap all the way around. That is just so distinctive, and it looks really, really neat when those things are on. Then you've got your fog lights that are integrated here into the lower portion, and there's your park assist sensor. Then your other park assist sensors, there's one there and one further down. There are 4 on the back, 4 on the front. Let's start it up and then we'll pop the hood and take a look at the engine. And it's really easy to start as long as you have your key fob in the vehicle. You can put your foot on the brake, press the start button. The hood latch is going to be just to the right of the Lexus emblem, and you can pull that up. You can see that it's right there. And it stays supported because it's on shocks, so there's no little arm to worry about supporting the hood with. And here is your 2-liter turbocharged inline 4, and it has 235 horsepower and produces 258 pound-foot of torque. You do want to use premium gas in this engine. Battery is down here. You've got brake fluid down there against that wall. Your relay and fuses. There's your air box for your air filter. One of those is coolant for the turbo, one's coolant for the engine. And then you have windshield washer fluid, more relays and fuses. There's your oil dipstick. You do want to change the oil every 10,000 miles, and you want to rotate your tires every 5,000 miles. The list of standard features is pretty impressive on the NX, and I've got a short list of the standard features, and what I'd like for you to do is, if you want to see the full list of standard features, just visit the link in the comments section below. You do have smart access with push button start. You have drive mode select, and drive mode select allows you to change something called throttle mapping by the turn of a dial, and let's check that out. What you see down there where it says Eco, Normal, and Sport, that is drive mode select. So whenever you turn it to the left on the dash, it says Eco. And Eco indicates that it's going to be driving in a more fuel efficient manner. That's going to change something called throttle mapping, which means it requires more pedal travel to achieve speed. You actually have to push the gas pedal down further to get up to speed. It also is going to reduce the fan speed of the climate system in order to make it more fuel efficient. It's actually going to pull a little power away from the climate system so it can dedicate that to fuel economy. You can turn it right for Sport, and you can see Sport pop up on your dash. And what Sport does, it's the opposite of Eco. So it's going to require less pedal travel to achieve speed. So you actually push the gas pedal down a little bit less, and it feels a little bit more torquey. That's also going to change the steering. It's going to make the steering a little bit more stiff to reduce the input from the steering wheel, making it feel a little more sporty. And then normal, you can press it, and there's nothing on the dash right now. And normal, I like to tell people, is basically a combination of Eco and Sport. That's selectable drive modes. Another standard feature is dual zone climate control. You can see this panel here. All the buttons that are in that black section are all climate settings or your heated and ventilated seat settings. On the left is the temperature control buttons, the red arrow and the blue arrow for the driver. On the right is for the passenger. And you can see where it says dual. So when I press that, it activates dual. And now I have control of the right side. You can see that one's increasing, that one's staying put. But I can deactivate that, and now the driver has control of the temperature of both sides. Dual zone climate control, that is standard. Then you have something called Lexus Display Audio. So we can turn the radio on here, and Display Audio comes up, and you can see all that's listed there on your radio setting. That's a lot. It's really neat because it'll show the name of the artist, the name of the song title, and then over here you see it says page 3 of 6. And there are actually 6 stations that are listed right there. And since you have 6 pages of 6 stations, that means you can actually have 36 presets. That is all standard on the NX. Another standard feature, you can see this feature by putting it in reverse, and there it is, your backup camera. It also has something called an active display. So those are active grid lines. What that means is when you turn your steering wheel, you can see that grid right there is moving. And that grid, the yellow portion of that grid moves with the steering wheel. And that allows you to get it lined up better if you're backing into something, into a parking space. Those blue lines, you want to put those inside the white lines on a parking lot. And once you get those blue lines set inside the white lines, you'll then line up the yellow on top of the blue, and that'll put you inside the space nice and straight. Another standard feature on the NX is Bluetooth wireless connectivity with your smartphone. So you can use that button right there to pair your smartphone, and I just press that button, and on our Lexus display audio we see a little notification that says there's no Bluetooth devices registered. Would you like to register one now? We don't need to do that just yet, but that is standard equipment, Bluetooth right there. Now another nice portion of that is standard is USB smartphone connectivity. In this little box you've got a little USB port. You see that right there? And whenever you plug in your phone into that, it will connect with the audio system, and that allows you to play anything that is on your phone through the audio system. And in fact, if you have an iPhone, you can use voice commands to play or to recall songs, artists, albums, titles, playlists, all that stuff with your voice. So if your iPhone is hooked up through the USB port, you can use your voice to play music that's right from your iPhone. You also have subscription-free traffic and weather through HD radio.
What would you like to do?
Show forecast.
The forecast for today is cloudy.
Can you see that? So all I did was hit the voice commands button on my steering wheel, said show forecast, and check that out. That's through the weather channel, and it's through HD, and that is subscription free. That's free forever. How cool is that? And there is a little icon in the corner of the screen there that looks like a back arrow that matches the icon down here. So I just press that, and check that out. When I press the back arrow, it says information, fuel consumption, traffic incidents, and weather. So now I can go down and hit traffic incidents, and it gives me a real-time traffic map, and where it's all green, that shows me how the traffic is flowing. And you can see a little bitty portion right there where it's yellow, and that means traffic in that little bitty portion is backed up. Pretty nifty. That is standard equipment on the NX200t. When you see menu right here, you can press menu, and you can use this wheel to turn, and then to make a selection, you just press the wheel down. Display, setup, info, connected navigation, and that is something that's new for 2017. That's called Scout GPS. So you download an app on your phone, and then you hook your phone up to the car, and the Scout GPS system you can actually run through a screen in the vehicle off of your phone. Pretty awesome. That's new for 2017. So this vehicle does not have navigation, but when you download that app, you can run that navigation into the car from your phone. Setup is what I really recommend you spend some time in. This is how you're going to customize the vehicle to work exactly the way you want it to work according to these categories. You really need to get in there and to mess with that. And then info, display, phone, climate. So that's your display screen. And what I was doing is I was turning and pushing this button, and that's your command dial right there for the display audio system. Auto, P, and hold. This has an automatic parking brake. So when you put the car in park up there like that, it will automatically engage the parking brake. When you put it in reverse or drive, it will automatically disengage the parking brake, so there's no more brake that you have to apply with your foot. You also have hold, and that's called brake hold. And when you press, and your seatbelt has to be on, my seatbelt's not on right now, but when you use brake hold, when that feature is active, it will actually hold the brakes at a stoplight. So when you come to a complete stop and that feature is active, you can actually let your foot off the brake and it will keep you still at a stoplight. Now here's the thing, your seatbelt has to be buckled, and when the feature is active, you'll see this icon on the dash in green. When the feature is actually on, activated at a stoplight, you'll see hold on the dash again, but it's like an amber color. That means it's actually engaged, and that's when you can actually take your foot off the brake. You've got a neat little cubby here, and that is a mirror on the other side, and that's for your sunglasses, and then you put your sunglasses down in there. Couple of cup holders, and these are self-gripping cup holders, so when you put your water bottle down in there, you can take the cap off of it, and these little arms right there will hold it snug, so you can actually open it with one hand. That's pretty nifty, isn't it? Steering wheel audio controls and voice commands and phone. Mode allows you to change the mode if you wanted to listen to XM, FM, AM, CD, Bluetooth, anything like that. You can hit mode, and that will allow you to change the mode right from the steering wheel. On the left is volume up and down. On the right is preset station scan or track scan up and down. On the right side of the steering wheel, you have a little button there with a multi-directional keypad, up, down, left, and right, and that controls this display that's in between the tachometer and the speedometer. You see that little display, and it says park right there. And so I'm pressing to the right now, and there's radio, there's no messages right now that are pertinent, and then you have settings, information. So I can go over to information. I'm pressing down now, and that's all my fuel economy information. Pretty neat. Then my speedometer is on the right, fuel gauge is on the far right, then tachometer and engine temperature. You see the green P that's in the left corner? That's park assist. That lets me know that my sensors in the bumpers are active right now, and they would beep if I got too close to something. Your turn signal stalk and your headlight stalk are over here on the left, and you do have automatic daytime running lights. Your window controls, and it's all auto. All 4 windows are automatic, so you can just press it down once, let it go, and it'll roll the window down all the way. You can pull it up, and it'll roll the window. That's what automatic means. And then lock and unlock, window lock, mirror control. When I press left, it toggles to the left. Multi-directional keypad allows me to change the direction of the mirror. There's a light down here, and that light says BSM, and when I press that in, the light was just on, I cut it off. When I cut the light back on, it beeps, and you see an icon in the mirror, and that means that the blind spot monitor is now active. On the right of that is my tailgate, that's the rear door. On the left is park assist. That's how I cut on the sensors that beep if I get too close to something. I also have seat memory, so I can get my steering wheel, my seat, and my mirrors set the way I want to. Then I can press set and 1, and that just memorized my seat, steering wheel, and mirror position. I can do that for up to 3 people. The back seat is really comfy, and one of the things that I really like about the NX is the fact that tall people can actually sit comfortably in this. I'm actually 6'3", and I was just sitting up front, and so now take a look here. That's my knee room. So this is what it's like for someone that's over 6 feet tall sitting behind someone that's 6 feet tall. That's actually a decent amount of room, plenty of room for a vehicle that's this size. There are your rear air registers. I really like the way the cockpit is laid out. It's pretty cool. And then you have a button here that you can push to open up to reveal your cup holders. There's your power door switch or power window switch. Water bottle holder there in the pocket of the door, and another speaker. Check out the attention to detail. It's really nice. You've got your contrasted stitching, and there's a piece there that looks kind of like carbon fiber. And just really well put together. Another really nice thing about the NX is that this is not leather. And that's not necessarily nice in and of itself. It's not like you say, hey, this is nice. It's not leather. But the thing about it that does make it nice is that if you actually feel it, it really does feel like leather. In fact, it feels like a really soft leather. It feels a lot like the semi-aniline leather that we have in our higher end, really upgrade packaged vehicles. In fact, I'll have people come in and test drive NXs, and they'll say something like, gosh, I really love the leather on Lexus vehicles. And I'll say, nope, that's not leather. You've got power seat controls there with lumbar support, and that's part of your seat memory system. Got a nice big footwell there. There's your gas pedal and brake pedal. And there's your daytime running lights right there. Those are so cool looking. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know what you think about the 2017 Lexus NX200t. Leave your comments in the comments section below. And also, if you like this video and you would like more content delivered to you fresh as soon as I make it, hit that subscribe button and I'll be glad to make good stuff for you, I promise. Make sure you thumb this video up if you liked it, and please do share. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching.